Yay. Okay.
Hi.
Oh my god, I cannot believe we're starting this. This is so nerve-wracking. Okay.
It's alright. We're just talking about some
We're just
we're talking about some Star Wars, dude.
Yeah, how exciting. All right, you ready? Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the first official episode of Just Our Opinions, the show where I'm pretty sure we're all going to get canceled on Twitter. This is the first episode. Oh my god. I'm so hella nervous. Okay, so let's start off with
God,
introduction.
I'm so here for this.
Okay, let me start off by introducing myself. Hello, my name is FireRosaa. You can call me Rosa for short. I am the host of this dear podcast, and today's guest that I have is one of my like good friends here. I'm gonna introduce them. This is Matt. Hey Matt, how's it going?
Hello, my name is Matt, and you can call me Matt.
Fun introduction. We
Yeah.
met each other through a mutual friend of ours. And
Yes, we
the thing is that she will definitely be on one of these episodes sooner or later. But like, yeah. So we're right now. She's I don't know what she's up to right now. We're not gonna talk about that today.
Yeah. Maybe another time.
Maybe another time. Okay. This podcast has like been like a long time coming. But I've always wanted to start a podcast. It had been like what, almost a year since I was like thinking of doing a podcast. But I didn't come up with Just Our Opinions up until I want to say about a couple months ago. And then afterwards, it just had to boil down to us doing the pre-log, which I did on my stream, which I do stream. And the thing is though that that got deleted, so that was fun.
This is so sad.
That is so sad, I know. So the pre-log is just a Twitch exclusive, but alright, I guess. But instead, today we are doing the first official episode called There Seems to Be a Force Between Us, and this is a Star Wars themed episode. Now,
Let's go.
yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure many of us know this. Many of us probably grew up with Star Wars. I know I for sure did. I don't know about you, Matt, but you did. You did.
We'll
Okay.
get into that,
We're gonna get into that. Today we're just talking about generally all the stuff, the shows, the movies, personal stories that we have, things like that. And like, I will say this franchise was one of my first franchises that I got into as a kid, so this is something I'm extremely passionate about. As you can tell, I did it, yay.
Alright.
So, okay, we're gonna, yeah. So we're gonna get started. Okay. So first of all, I don't have anything planned. This is the funniest thing. Me and Matt DM'd each other not too long ago and say we were on call. We said we're going completely unscripted for this whole thing. I normally don't.
Right.
Yeah, so this is just our selves talking. But I did prepare a couple of notes mentally. Just because I was like, okay, it's better if I have notes prepared, because if I have notes prepared, it's easier for me to think of something to talk about.
I mean, the original plan was to just have a little list of notes each for us to go off of. And then we were like, you know what? How about we just don't do that?
I think the one thing for sure though was, okay, so for starters, me and Matt got really close one time on a call. And legitimately just talked about our favorite things, and we realized how much we had in common, and so that's the reason why this episode was born. And this was actually supposed to be an episode much later on, but then I decided oh, let's do it now because it seems like a good fitting first episode. You get to witness the pure chaos that it comes about in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like that.
The message is there.
The message is there, so that's good. Okay, so I want to jump into the movies first because I'm pretty sure everyone. That's literally that's the best start we can give because
where do we begin? The beginning.
The beginning. Okay, for starters, I didn't watch the movies up until I was I think 10, maybe 11. But yeah, because obviously if you're a kid, right? And you grew up you grew up just not really knowing much, like, and like again, my parents are huge Star Wars fans, so they legitimately got me into the show when I'm like going through my notes, and so and by notes I mean I'm going through Disney Plus right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right.
But the thing was though, okay, so I was like, okay, so Jesus Christ. When I started watching the show, I watched the third movie of the show. The third movie. I watched the third movie, and whatever, mutual friends literally just said the third movie's the best, which we're gonna get into that, but I honestly like, I didn't decide on ranking any of these because like some of them I don't remember, but like there's some things where I just don't like, I don't have fond memories of, like the newer ones for starters, like Jesus freaking Christ, dude. I think we're gonna get into that. So
okay, I will say I'm kind of surprised that you were introduced as late as like 10 or 11. Like,
yeah,
my dad got me on this stuff early.
Really?
Like, early. Yeah, he's an avid Star Wars fan. That's where I get it from. I was like,
oh, it's my dad too.
These movies at like 5, 6, 7 years old. I don't even remember. I think Star Wars has been in my life for as long as I can remember, just because my dad was like, oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I was talking about you to my dad, right? Because I was telling him, like, oh, I'm planning on doing the first episode on Star Wars, and I'm planning on bringing Matt. And I've talked about you before, and then it wasn't until we met, like, when I talked to Yan, and she was, like, talking about you, too, for a little bit. And the thing was, though, that when I talked to him about the fact I'm doing this episode, I was like telling him, I think I was like I told him this. I'm like, you and him would probably get along. The thing is, like, he's a massive Star Wars fan. I think he's more massive than I am, and so like the thing is, though, that he just goes bananas for the show.
Yeah, I know my dad is still more of a fan than I am for sure.
Oh
but
yeah.
Like I feel like we just simply can't match up to them.
Because they grew up with the original while we had the newer films. I think that's the reason why.
Again, like, we can still be fans of like the older films and stuff, but they've had like years for it to marinate.
And they got to watch it in theaters, like when it first came out. That's the thing about movies. Like, when they first come out in theaters, that's like an entire there's something there. Yeah. And I think
it's different.
Okay, so I'm going through my list right now of Disney Plus. And okay, so for starters, I definitely want to talk about the main We'll start off with the main.
I feel like we should start with the original trilogy.
Yeah, and
like, that's like the obvious start, and I feel like we go there, and then we like go on to like the prequels, then like the sequels,
and then the shows and stuff, and then afterwards our personal like fun things of being Star Wars fans. Because I got a couple of stories that I don't think I've mentioned to you. I didn't mention this to anyone because I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna wait till like later. I think somebody called me. Hold on, I'll be right back, I guess.
Okay. Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so let's start off with the main movies. Okay, so how many are we working with here?
3.
3. Yeah.
We're working with 3, and let's tackle them in order.
A New Hope, obviously. Okay, like that. Okay, so here's the thing with like first movies. Yeah, they're good. All right, like obviously it's world building. You know, there's like I don't think there's I have to agree with our friend here, like, because I'm not gonna say, I said I mentioned names, but like I don't want to mention names until they're ready, until they're in episodes. But like yeah, but one of our friends, just to be clear, we have a group called the Crouton Crew, and so basically, yeah, that is true, and most of them will be in the show. But like the thing is though that this podcast, I mean, but like the thing is though that. I won't mention them up until they're introduced. So you stick around. You're gonna have to wait till then. Yeah.
More characters to be announced.
Yeah. For now, I bring one of the best so far. So you.
That's a compliment.
It is a compliment. Okay. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. But is it Shrimp?
Yes, it's Shrimp.
Hi, Shrimp. Okay. Oh my God. Shrimp.
Cat, by the way.
Shrimp is Matthew's cat.
He's not an actual shrimp, though.
No, I'll put pictures on the thing if
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
cause yeah,
'Cause there's a lot of them.
yeah. But okay, so yeah, I don't. A New Hope is just a good movie to start off with. I don't have much to
Yeah.
say. I prefer to
See,
Empire Strikes Back, to be honest.
and that's what I hear a lot, a lot. My dad even agrees. He's like, Empire Strikes Back was probably I think he mentioned that it was like his favorite of all time.
It's my favorite of all
In
time
the
too.
Star Wars, like,
I think that's the
if
most
I
popular
remember that
choice.
correctly,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's like it's such a good follow up. Because A New Hope, it is really good, right?
Yeah, it's obviously good because the
And
first one has to
the
be
thing I
good.
really like about it,
Hmm.
the other thing I really like about it is that, like, I mean, obviously it's the start, it's the world building and everything like that.
Yeah.
Good story. Like, obviously it's good, otherwise it wouldn't have like jump started like
An
the
entire
entire
franchise.
And there's something cool about the fact that like it was made in a way that it could have just been a standalone movie. And because I mean that's what they were going for. Like they were preparing for the possibility that it'll probably never get a sequel or anything like that.
Yeah, I just realized my fan is burning, so give me a second. Keep talking.
On Earth? Wait. Okay.
Keep talking. I have to turn off my fan.
Okay.
Because I can hear it.
Interesting.
I can hear it through like the whole thing, and it's just like I can just hear it like the entire time.
Oh boy.
Okay, it's off now. Go ahead, continue.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. So, no, but yeah, yeah. So, like, I kind of like how it could have like been a standalone thing because I mean they were like preparing like, oh, this could be the only movie we ever make out of this.
I mean,
And
who
then they're
sets a
like-
movie where? No, wait, I shouldn't say that because sequels, like, because movies, like, for example, the Mario movie. I know we're talking about like things like Star Wars, but this is a good reference I'll make where
Yeah, no.
it's like a current good reference because they have what's set as like the sequel, what'll mainly happen in the sequel. So that's something like I was gonna say like, oh, why are they gonna set like it to be a standalone movie and then just legitimately just oh my god, my mom's screaming, and then just legitimately just legitimately like make it what is it, like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. But yeah, I get you.
I think I follow. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And so A New Hope is obviously like it's great, obviously.
Right.
It wouldn't have again spawned a franchise if it wasn't.
Mhm.
But then Empire Strikes Back is just such a good follow-up to
good.
that movie.
Yeah. I think
Like,
that's the popular one because everybody can say that Empire Strikes Back is like objectively the best one.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well, okay.
like I got opinions on the
I do
third
have
and
my own
second.
opinion. I think I am tied with it and
Return of the Jedi.
Those
okay, actually, both of those are pretty good.
Yeah,
in my
I feel
opinion.
like most people think that Empire Strikes Back is the best one though, and I'm like, it's a toss up for me between those two.
I think obviously it's like okay, the first movie walked so the other two can run, basically.
Yeah,
it's that
I mean,
saying.
pretty much.
Yeah, they're both good.
But the thing is, like, the first one even ran still. But,
Well,
like,
yeah.
The other two just ran faster.
The Usain Bolt. Okay, yeah. Honestly, when I think the three, right? I think those three entirely, and they're movies that I can just legitimately watch any day, and I wouldn't be mad that they're playing because obviously, like, Star Wars in the beginning just legitimately carried through. Like, that's what I say. The one thing I will say though, okay, now we're gonna be talking prequels.
Oh boy, prequels.
That's what is it? The Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, yeah. I mean,
obviously,
Clone Wars is a whole other. Okay, so the actual show Clone Wars, we'll get into that later. But
I didn't watch it. Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it, so okay.
Yeah, okay, guys. Just to be clear, we haven't seen everything. Okay.
Yeah, I want to make it clear that I have not watched every piece of media of Star Wars that there is out there.
I think that's too much for me.
Quite a lot. I've watched all the movies, that's for sure.
I did too.
Like, I have watched that.
I think we should tell them like how far of much we've seen because I think it'll give some more context. So for me, okay, so like for starters, I mentioned how big of a Star Wars fan I am. I've done a lot of things that have been Star Wars related in the past. But the thing is that I indulged in a lot of the originals. and the movies, and then like a lot of like other media that was brought up. So like that's for me. I haven't seen all the shows that were offered or that were offered in the originals. I only seen a good handful, and I think I've seen only like I would say the best ones as far as I can be concerned, because I haven't heard any bad things coming up from. We'll get into that, but like yeah.
I will say I have not watched most of the shows actually. In fact, I think the only show I've like watched like the most of is like Mandalorian. But even then, I haven't seen the new season either. And we'll get
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that because I have, so I can.
Feel like we should. Yeah, I feel like we should get back to like.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's just out of like okay, that's just like an out of
just to give you an idea.
Just to give you an idea of like where we are as far as fans are. I'm pretty sure I know there's gonna be people gonna be like, "You haven't seen the whole thing. You haven't seen this."
Yeah. Like we're doing an episode on Star Wars, but we haven't like watched every single episode of like Clone Wars or like
or we haven't seen Visions or something like Vision season 2. Look, we're gonna get to it. We're just not on it right now as of recording this. So like that's just how it is. Besides, there's gonna be definitely more episodes of Star Wars coming up. It's just like we're talking about, think of this like the first movies. In the way, and then there's gonna be more context. I'm gonna run this thing till it's dry. Watch me. All right.
Yeah, performing content.
Okay. Anyway, so let's get back into Clone Wars again. Like, I honestly think it's good because again, I think Clone Wars was set for world building in a way because like obviously we have the main story.
I do have to ask then. You haven't seen the Clone Wars show, so we're talking about prequel trilogy here.
We're talking prequel trilogy.
Clone Wars,
I'm referring to the prequels, not to the actual show, because I haven't seen it yet.
Yes, okay. I just wanted to make that very clear
to everyone, but also that makes sense because then I would be
I don't know. I just had to be sure.
Okay. Anyway, so like I think it's good, honestly. Like I don't really got much to say on it because I think because like if I'm referring to like watching the movies, I watch the movies I would say about 2 or 3 times each one, except the newer ones. We'll get into that. But like the thing is though that I think like I've seen Clone Wars the least as far as I know, because I love it, yes, but like again, if we're talking like old Star Wars, I don't think Clone Wars. I think the actual Star Wars movies,
like the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my thing. Is I've been kind of up and down with the prequel trilogy. Like I've liked it, I've disliked it. I see what is good about it and I see what's bad about it, because like it's weird, it's different. Like when you like watch the original trilogy and then you watch, oh hey, this is what happened before, and it all looks like this. It's certain it can definitely like kind of throw you off. And there are some weird canon things that they kind of threw in there that kind of like made the sequels, or I say sequels, the original feel like some aspects about it feel like weird. Off. It's like, oh, okay.
It's like kind of off, right?
I will point to the main thing for me the main thing that my head always goes to first is like Darth Vader made C-3PO, I guess. Like
what? Okay, I don't remember this.
So Anakin, when he was young in the first episode, he was literally building C-3PO.
Oh my god.
Like, oh yeah, that's just a thing now. It's like, oh yeah.
Okay,
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Just that's like, it's like me. Like I don't remember this, but I'm pretty sure if I did, I would have been dead faced. Like, are you kidding me right now? When I saw the Clone Wars, I was young, so I don't obviously remember it. It was like a decade ago. You can't really expect me to remember half this crap. But like, oh my god, honestly, I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's I don't know.
Yeah. No, but see, and I feel like a lot of people have also kind of had this like same opinions, like I think the prequel, I saw like some documentary or something like that on Star Wars or something, and it's like even at the time it was kind of poorly received, at least compared. Like I get like it was weird. It's like not good.
Yeah, it just
In a
doesn't
lot
hold a
of people's
candle
eyes.
to the like the actual thing. And I think this is
Yeah, the
another thing. Yeah,
originals.
and I think that's the thing though, because like, okay, let me tell you something. This is how bad I am of a Star Wars fan, you guys. I actually mapped out the entire timeline. And I even then when I first like watched it, I thought to myself, when this came out, I'm pretty sure people were definitely confused that this is a prequel and not a continuation of what's going to happen next. I'm pretty sure there was going to be no continuation if I'm being real honest here, because like obviously, you know, what was it? Return of the Jedi pretty much like, you know, set it in stone. And when I think like maybe that's why they were like, "Oh, this is what happened before the entire thing." That's what I think. And well, the soccer game's going on, so my mom just yeah, but like so like obviously I like it's like I'm looking at it in an advertising sense, you know, like when I think Clone Wars, and that's like yeah, it kind of just it definitely makes it easier now because obviously we have things like streaming platforms where we can literally see it based on the timeline. And again, the big nerd I am, that's what I did. I did that, and when Disney Plus said, "Hey, we also got Star Wars content," you know your girl was legitimately mapping out her entire timeline. What am I watching first? All the way to what we obviously what you know the last one was, because when the last movie came out, you know, I had to watch it to finish my timeline. But yeah, but in the sense of Clone Wars, look, it's good because it's Star Wars, so
yeah, right. And here's my thing, and again, I was talking about this earlier, like how I had kind of ups and downs of it. I really kind of didn't like it at first, but then there was a point of time where Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was my favorite Star Wars movie in the entire series.
It is really good because
that one I feel like is like the best of the.
No, finish.
It's still weird in its own ways, but like, I mean, look, and I feel like a lot of people kind of agree because, like, in the sense, like, because now you see like
see the
people
memes
all over the internet quoting like, you know, the whole like speech that Anakin and Kenobi had back and forth.
You were the
like,
chosen one.
People, yeah, you see people quoting that a ton. Like, people like that movie. Like, if they don't like the other like prequel movies, they at least like that one.
Yeah.
So I feel like even the prequels in general have grown on kind of like a new like generation, and even grown on OG Star Wars fans over time.
I think because of it, to be honest.
Poorly received at first.
I was gonna say I would like to talk about it.
The originals.
Yeah, I would like to say I honestly want to talk about that for a second, Revenge of the Sith, because now you just brought up a couple of memories. Like, okay, so like here's the thing. When I was younger, right, I used to like imagine myself doing these things and saying it to like my best friend at the time, you know, and I'd be like, "You are the chosen one. It was said you would," like it was like I would think about it every time I looked at them crossing the halls at school.
Right.
And it would be like to my ex friends, and it'd be like, "You, how dare you?" And then the one thing I think of is whenever I think Anakin, after watching that, was child murder.
Oh yeah.
I mean, am I wrong here? Like, no, am I wrong?
I mean, they make a whole thing about it where he's just like, "Yep."
And as someone who like adores kids, it's just like it's a kick to the face. That like it's just like, oh my god, like that hurts.
Yes, I really don't like seeing this character kill children. Like,
I'm gonna admit something really bad.
Well, what?
Oh my god, I used to like really I think the actor who did Anakin was like my celebrity crush at the time. It was so sad. Crazy. It was so funny. But then I like when I saw the murders, it just wait. It was just like off.
Oh wow!
And yeah, because obviously child just gives me that opinion.
See, I like this person, but you know, I really can't get past the whole murdering children aspect.
It's like if there's a murderer like who murdered his entire clan and then just legitimately, I still love him actually. That's a terrible example. But like I was a kid, okay, so obviously I didn't know, but I didn't know better. So what do you expect me to do?
I don't know. I feel like it's like, I don't think it's crazy to say that you like someone less for, you know,
killing kids.
I don't think that's like an abnormal thing to feel or think.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of funny now that I think about it. That just turned on my memory after I mentioned the murdering kids. Like, maybe later on, like, when we keep talking about this, my brain will start to realize, like, oh, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this. It's just like...
I feel like that's gonna happen for me, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
anyway, back to topic!
Yeah, yeah, that movie, Revenge of the Sith, it does remain, like, one of, like, the really, really good ones in my head. I'm not so much a fan of the other two. I feel
there's
like
not really much to be a fan
of the prequel movies, they just got better after each one. Like,
yeah,
I feel like episode 1 is the weakest.
Well, it works similarly to like the original, but in the sense lowered.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, in a lowered sense.
In a lowered sense, yeah.
Even though episode 1 does have my favorite Jedi in it, which is Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon Jinn is my favorite.
Okay, you know what? I respect
really
that.
like
I respect him. I respect him. Mine is Darth Vader, but like obviously because like
your favorite Jedi is Darth Vader.
It like Anakin Skywalker, yeah, but Darth Vader. Okay, not like in this. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, legitimately, I have a Lego keychain of him in my car keys, and he's like, I love him. He's just, he's like, it's my dad's fault. He's a big Darth Vader fan too, so like,
gotcha.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, honestly, I'll respect your opinion on that one.
Yeah, I hear it.
You can't see it, but my eyes are like widen every single time. But like, anyway, so I don't know. Is there anything else you want to mention before we actually get into now our era of Star Wars content movies?
Yes.
Is there anything last that you want to mention?
Like I have anything more to add now, obviously, but I might just like remember something later and be like,
oh yeah, at this moment.
And there's this thing I wanted to say about this too.
Yeah, it's fine.
If it
honestly,
becomes relevant.
No, of course.
I think I'm ready.
Alrighty, guys, let me tell you something before we get into this. So like the time when let me think about what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Because I just remembered something, but I will wait.
Say it.
I was just gonna say that I just remembered I have a lot of opinions on.
That's what I was gonna tell you.
on the.
We have a lot of opinions on the new trilogy.
I've got like. The original trilogy is like, oh yeah, it's really good. I really like this one. This one got really good, and this one was like a strong finisher. Like, even the prequel trilogy is like, oh, these ones are not quite as good, but you know, at the end of the day, they're still Star Wars and they're still good.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this one a lot. They get better. Like, I have those kind of opinions with the originals, but the new trilogy, I have opinions.
We both have opinions. Okay, so let's give some context. We didn't grow up, obviously we just mentioned this, that we didn't grow up with the original. We grew up with the newer ones.
We are babies.
We are babies.
We did not grow up in that era.
No. Okay. I was going to mention this, that when we didn't talk a lot before the initial conversation and how this episode was born, in the sense. Mm-hmm. The thought of this episode came into play.
Yeah, that was kind of our first real fully fledged conversation.
So the thing is that I don't. Do you mind if I talk about this for a little bit? Because I feel like
I do not.
Okay, I do not.
I do not.
That's oh my god. You have no idea. Episode 2's Mario themed, by the way.
Dude, I'm.
It is literally gonna be the next one. I promise you that.
Oh, that's go. That's crazy.
Okay, but all right. So off the Mario, back to where we're talking. All right, so
Yes.
back to what I'm saying. All right, so me and Matt like originally didn't have many conversations beforehand. It was up until I decided to start this forming the Crouton crew, and this was all on accident, by the way. This was not on purpose. I promise you that when I tell you that. Okay. The thing is though that when I first like started talking with Matt, that was when like we started having tiny opinions on the whole thing. So like some of the opinions that I'm going to talk about were addressed with Matt not too long ago, but now we can finally go deep into it now because we had to. We told each other that we had to wait till this episode was actually made.
I was remembering that, and I was like, yeah, I was gonna say something when we first started the episode. I was gonna say something like, finally we get to like actually talk about this after like purposefully avoiding it for like 2 months straight.
Yeah, like
how long? I think it's been longer than that actually.
The thing is that like obviously like legitimately me and him just like did not say anything. We legit had to avoid it.
We avoided the topic of Star Wars for like
and it kind of
since we became this close of friends pretty much.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think it kind of sucks, but this is where you're gonna hear like the most best opinions out of us because like this is where we can put in our 2 cents.
Do we have them?
Oh boy, do we have them. All right, so without further ado, we're going to talk about the newer ones. Now, I do want to mention this beforehand. I remember when this trailer came out, but the thing was that obviously trailers weren't like obviously before like we had this was what 2017 I think. Like
2017 for the Force Awakens?
I think so. Again did not do initial 2015. Okay. Okay.
Okay, wait. Let me look it up, but I think it's a lot longer ago than that.
It's at 2015 here on Disney Plus. So do a double check for me.
2015?
That's what it said.
Yeah, let me look up when that trailer actually dropped.
Yeah, it could be 2014. Okay, but around that era, obviously, social media wasn't as big as it is now. Back then podcasts were not a thing.
2015.
2015. All right.
The first trailer dropped around the end of 2014.
So okay, we'll say 2014, 2015. Yeah, but okay, so obviously social media wasn't as big as it is today. Media
it wasn't to us at least.
Well, it wasn't to us at least. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, social media.
I don't know yet.
We're not gonna get into that. I wasn't on social media. I'm gonna talk personal experiences. So like, obviously, I'm referring to myself. Like, oh, like yeah, I was in 5th grade. Okay, so like I was in 5th grade, right? So, like 4th leading on to 5th grade, and the thing is though that I didn't know much of like Star Wars, but like I really enjoyed the movies when they did come out on TV because obviously the only form of media that we could watch back in the day was TV, and
like actual real TV
and CDs, and if anybody who's over like. Or like
in the era of Blu-ray at that time.
No, like okay, anybody who's like what 2008, 9 babies, probably maybe like earlier. I might be talking because like my sister is 2006 and she like forgets what DVDs are a thing. But like, okay, anybody who's not in the year 2004, you don't know.
I feel like because my sister is 2010, and I don't think she's ever like touched a real DVD.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, yes. Anybody who hasn't known what a DVD is, it's like a little tiny thing where you can stick it into a DVD.
I feel like people still do know what a DVD is at the very least.
I should hope so, but people
babies.
Oh my god, I actually want to one day show my niece like this is a DVD. I want to know what she's gonna say. She's like 7, so like I don't know what she's gonna. I will one day. But anyway, so like DVDs were a thing, obviously, like tapes were a thing. So like that at that time too. So that was when we watched the original Star Wars films. But I remember it was at a specific theater that me and my dad loved to go to. Here, I won't mention exactly where because I will not mention exactly where, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
But But the thing is, though, that I remember everyone screamed the minute that this movie was a thing. Like, it was actually gonna be a thing. That is the most
Right.
fondest memory that I have, is that everybody who obviously was older went nuts. And the thing was, though, that us kids, like, even though, like, despite me, because I was excited when this movie was announced, because obviously, grew up Star Wars fans, but for kids who, like, legitimately had no idea what the hell was going on. By the way, the theater that we went to had a Disney movie. I don't remember which one, and I honestly will probably never remember which one. I bet you the kids were just, like, so confused, like, why are my parents screaming? Little Timmy right here next to me, just, I don't think that's his name, but, like, little Timmy over here is kind of like, oh my god, why is my parents, like, yelling? Like, why are my parents yelling? I don't know. That's like, but yeah, this trailer was obviously a big thing, because I kind of thought that it was gonna die. Like, it was over with. There was nothing else that. Nope.
Yep. Nope. They came back.
Yeah.
I do remember that trailer dropping, and I remember like where I was when I like first watched it. I was in one of the best houses like I lived in, and it's like I remember it was like my brothers. They were like, oh, they released a new trailer for like the new Star Wars movie. I'm like, oh my god, they're making a new Star Wars movie? You mean that those movies that like haven't gotten a new like okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I thought when I was a little kid, like 2015, 2014 little kid,
we were fifth
I
graders
thought
at the time. Yeah.
I thought the prequels were a lot older than they actually were.
No, yeah.
I thought they were still 1900, like
1900s.
Okay, 1980s, 1990s is what I meant. Like, I thought they weren't like 2000 movies. That's what I meant by 1900. Not like it came out like 1904. We got Revenge of the Sith. So anyways. Hold on.
Breathe.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Anyway.
You're so back. Anyway, yeah. So okay. Look, dude, listen. You know what I meant. It was not like, oh, yeah. I was not talking like early 20th century. It was like when we got Star Wars, okay?
Okay, shut up. Okay, and let me get back for a second. Get back.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Breathe.
What I was meaning basically was like, oh yeah. So I was like really surprised at Star Wars coming back, because I thought the last movie we got was like late 1980s, early 1990s, something. That's when I thought the prequels came out, because I don't know why. So I was very surprised by it, and I remember seeing the trailer and being very excited, especially by BB-8 specifically.
Oh yeah.
I remember seeing that, like the ball, like he was like just a ball and he was like rolling around. I was like, oh my god.
So, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I'm back fully again. Okay, that's
okay. Let's go.
Okay.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. I had to tie my hair up while you were doing that, because my neck was all sweaty. It's disgusting. But
yeah.
Like,
no,
okay. So this is why I love the name Just Our Opinions, because I'm about to list an opinion right now, you guys. Like, holy crap.
Oh boy.
So I know. Now, as a fifth grader, obviously, you don't really think anything other than, oh, new movie, yeah. But back when I was in fifth grade, I even knew that I was like, okay, well, this is kind of like, oh, they're trying to rope us into it now, because they roped the people back then, so they're trying to create just as much like as it was to now, to our generation. But also, they're trying to fill in cash for the people who are considered longtime fans. And obviously that's a concept now, obviously nowadays, because, like, people recycle ideas. That's why Disney has been, like, doing all of these, like, what is it, the live actions, and
live
again,
action remakes.
yeah.
Like, you know, like the live action Moana we're getting based on a movie that came out not even a decade ago.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Is they're doing a live action Moana,
Oh
and
my God.
what Moana came out? When would it come out?
What? Let
Moana
me look it up. Okay, but like, okay, we're gonna have a Disney themed episode, so we'll save that for now.
2016.
Oh Jesus, that was that was not
Yeah,
too long
and they're
ago.
already making a live action one.
That was 7
Not
years
even
ago. Wow.
10 years later.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna have a
Not that
Disney
we
themed
would.
episode, so we'll
Yeah,
save that
whatever.
for obviously later. But like,
Right.
I'm trying to make a point here, obviously. So like,
Mm-hmm.
God, my bangs are
Yeah,
in the
the
way.
whole point. That was just going towards the point that.
Yeah, that, you know, obviously they're trying to like yeah, it's a quick buck. Like, I think another good example that I would add is Nintendo Switch Sports. Like, because
Yeah.
yeah, so again, we're gonna have a Nintendo themed episode, and specifically different things in Nintendo. So that's I'm listing out ideas for what we will be doing in this show podcast.
Right.
Crap, but
I mean, it's whatever word
It's-
you
it-
want to use.
whatever works. Anyway, so I will say that, but okay, we talked about like, okay, the premise of how this movie started. Let's get into the actual movie, because I feel like we have a lot of good opinions on it. Okay, obviously, this is where I say, okay, a little spoiler for later on. This is where I say Star Wars did best on when it came to the new ones, like the new story. As in the sense of like, this is the opposite, obviously, where we just said how the last ones of the three.
How the original and prequel trilogies kind of started, like kind of their like on the weak. Okay, it's hard to say that original trilogy started on the weaker side, because A New Hope is just
Really
different
good.
like that.
It's really good.
But I would say that definitely applies more to the prequel when we say that
The third one did much
started
better.
kind of slow, but it got better as
Yeah.
the trilogy went on.
And this is where I
I
say,
think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and this is where
feel
I'm
like it
saying.
is kind of the opposite.
That's what I was about to say. I'm
Yeah.
in the sense of like, this movie really set a good record, honestly.
Yes.
And I was thinking, okay, wait, no, I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's all right. I was just gonna say like I feel like this movie was the best in the sequel trilogy. Like
can
looking
both
back
agree.
at it now.
No, yeah. Here's the thing. All right. Obviously, back in the theaters, you didn't know what was gonna happen. You obviously saw Rey and Finn and Poe, and then, oh my God, Oscar Isaac. Just like, okay. Anyway, like,
Alright.
I love Oscar Isaac. Don't judge me. He's good. Okay. He was good. Okay. Anyway,
Okay, I understand.
I love Oscar Isaac.
He's very good in a lot. And he's got a lot of roles that I really like too.
Moon Knight.
Like Poe Dameron here was really good.
Yeah.
I love Moon Knight,
Oh,
but that's for another.
That's for the Marvel themed episode.
That's for another time.
That's for the Marvel themed episode.
Great in the Spider-Verse, which is also Marvel themed. So you know.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait.
Not important.
Not important. But anyway, so like, this sucks. I know, but like, oh my God. But anyway, yeah. So obviously the first one set new grounds. Obviously, we got an entire new cast. Not really. There's obviously some references of like
new cast.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Yeah, new villains, new, like, obviously, you know, the new order, just like legitimately, just like, obviously
I love it.
We loved it.
And look, I've heard some complaints about it before.
Really?
Particularly that it feels like a repeat story of A New Hope.
But that's fine.
And in that sense, I do understand the complaint, but I still think that despite that, it is still really good.
Look.
And I feel like it's the best that the sequel trilogy had.
Because I think about it like this, like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I had to burp. I think of it like this, that we had, yeah, they're gonna have to use the same concept, because obviously, like, if I think about it like this, you know, obviously, you know, Palpatine's dead, quotation marks at the time, but like, you know, and then, you know, obviously, you know, Darth Vader won't. Yeah, you see what I'm. You see where I'm going with it.
Yeah,
And dead quotation marks.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
get into that. And then you have Darth Vader dead, and then, like, you know, obviously, you know, everything's good, but then you're gonna have people who like prefer order over freedom, you know, and so that's obviously I saw it. I saw it mapping out in my head when I first saw this movie.
That's not how the Force works. I love it. And, you know, it was good. Like,
Obviously.
I feel like that movie still had focus.
No.
To an extent, and we'll get into that.
And this is like one of the conversations that me and Matt had privately back then before we obviously decided to do this episode. Yeah. And like, I would say this, that I personally really, really enjoyed it. Like, I love the concept of the fact, like, oh, it's, you know, Han Solo and Princess Leia's son who's like part of this whole thing.
Yeah,
I liked it because obviously, you know, Princess Leia is, you know, like Darth Vader's daughter, and oh no, wait, hold on, Darth Vader is the father of Princess Leia, and so because of that, the grandchild follows in the grandfather's footsteps. And that's where I was like, okay, I like that concept, because obviously, you know, it's not, I don't think hereditary, but like, I think in the sense, you know, like, it's like, you know, I look up to this person in the sense, you know. And so I was like, okay, I love that concept. And then legitimately, like, when the entire movie played out, you can just sense like everyone with burning passion of that they hated him, because in the sense of what happened, which, guys, spoilers, well, it's not really spoilers, this happened like almost what, this happened a long time ago, so I'm not even saying spoilers. Yeah, so go watch it if you haven't watched it. Like, just come back to it if you haven't watched it. But obviously when Han Solo passed, right, because of it, by the hand of his he dies from the hands of his own son. That's where I felt like everybody sensed burning hatred towards this man. And that's how you know how good of a like design that they had in the original for this show, or for this movie. And I remember I had the same one too. Like, you can just feel the aura of like everyone just looking all pissed at him for killing obviously one of the most vital characters in the original. So, you know,
most beloved too.
Oh yeah, most beloved, dude. Oh my god, him and Leia just I love it. Yeah, anyway,
look, so yeah, it was really good in my opinion, and oh god, it was so good.
Yeah.
And then, okay, do we want to move on to the next movie?
You were gonna transition anyway. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So it's so good, and then we get The Last Jedi.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Okay.
This movie was a train wreck.
I remember walking out, like watching that movie and then walking out, and my whole family agreeing that at the very least, that one was weird.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and check the Rotten Tomato.
Oh, no, here's the other thing that I do want to get into later, because you will be surprised. That score is really high.
No, okay, here's what I got based on.
The highest of the entire sequel trilogy.
Okay, so you want to hear it? 91% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, 91% The Last Jedi got. Higher than The Force Awakens. Higher than Rise of Skywalker.
I will cry. I will cry. Anyway, 6.9 out of 10 IMDb. And then IGN gave it a 9.7. What?
Yeah.
Audience rating is a 2.2.
Yeah, it is. So this is one of those movies that's like, the critics love it. They love it. The audience does not love it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think we are alone in saying
it sucks.
This movie was weird. At least weird.
No.
Bad, I would argue.
No, here's
definitely weird, and not a good weird. It's
Oh
just
my
they had this
god.
weird like they had such this weird focus of like you go they like I don't know like the whole focus on like on Finn and like
No.
I don't even remember
Let
her
me
name.
talk
What's
about that.
her name?
Holy crap, hold
Yeah,
on. Let
okay.
me just go through. I'm going through these reviews, okay? Like, I'm
Mhm.
looking at them, and they're mentioning mostly about how, like, the toxic people were about the fact that the director was changed. But here's the thing, though.
Okay,
Why
yeah.
are you going to change the director? In the sense,
See, that's
that's where I'm
okay.
like, that's where I'm mad
Okay.
about, because you've had George Lucas run this whole thing all this time. Give it to
Mhm.
him. Give him the other movie. This man has
Yeah.
done so much. Let him tell his story about this whole thing. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, if you want to do it later on, then change the direction. Fine. Fine.
Look, look, here's the thing, right? Is that at the very least, J.J. Abrams is the guy who directed Force Awakens.
Mm. Oh, he did good though, I would say.
He did very good, right?
Mhm.
But then he voluntarily stepped down because he just, I don't know, he didn't want to do the continuing sequels.
I don't blame him,
So
but yeah.
it got given to the guy who directed Last Jedi. I don't even remember his name now.
Oh, I have
He
his name here.
directed Knives Out though. He directed Knives Out though, and that movie was really good. There's similar humor in like The Last Jedi as there is in Knives Out, but
Okay.
it didn't work as well for The Last Jedi as it did Knives Out. Knives Out was a really good movie, but it was not tied to an IP, so I think that's why it worked better.
I was about to
Because
say,
he's
but
a
here's the
good
thing.
director. I feel like he should not have handled Star Wars because it was just weird.
So
And I
his name is
remember I read
Ryan
an interview.
Johnson. His name is Ryan
Ryan
Johnson.
Johnson.
So
Okay.
yeah, he did direct Knives Out. But okay, here's
Yeah.
where I put my 2 cents in there, as like, I obviously as a viewer, but like as somebody who like obviously does, I obviously don't know how directors, producers, stuff like that work as much as somebody who's like a film major, for example. So obviously I won't be able to give some like more 2 cents. I'm not a film major, so don't come at me when I say these. Don't give it to somebody who hasn't had experience in running a very, very popular franchise. Don't give it to somebody who hasn't had an opportunity to work with a long time franchise, especially Star Wars. You look,
Yeah.
Knives Out was, yeah, I heard it was really good. I didn't watch
Knives
it.
Out really I've watched it I think a couple times actually. It is a really good movie.
I've
I
heard
liked it
I've
a
heard
lot.
I've heard as such, but I can't understand why would they give it to someone who hasn't had experience towards a long time franchise. Not only that, one of the most popular franchises, not only to Disney but in general. And so that's like the thing though, and I think that movie really suffered from the fact that the director had no idea what he was doing for a long time
Yeah.
franchise.
Here's the other thing that I do want to say because I think this also contributes was a difference in visions for the sequels.
You
I
mentioned
feel
this.
like J.J. Abrams. Here's the other thing about Last Jedi that I did not like is because that it felt like J.J. Abrams set up so much for a future director to go off of.
Yeah.
Um, and Ryan Johnson just did not pick up on any of it,
Yeah.
and he went a totally different direction with it. Like for one thing,
Mhm.
I really genuinely so truly thought J.J. Abrams was setting up for Rey to be Luke's daughter.
Oh, I was gonna. I hit my table because I thought you were
I
gonna
did
say
hear.
something else. I thought you were gonna say something else. I saw my table, thinking you were gonna say something else. But okay, continue.
What did what did you think I was gonna say?
Okay, this is what I think J.J. Abrams was gonna pull off with this. That Ray and Poe, not Poe, no, Ray and what was his name? Finn. Thank you. There we go. I
Uh-huh.
thought they were gonna be Finn was gonna be the romantic love interest.
Okay, so that's
That was
the
where
other
I
thing
was
that
gonna
I
go.
also thought, but
That's where I went.
we'll get there. We'll
Okay.
get there. I want to talk about this first. I really genuinely thought that J.J. Abrams set up for Rey to be Luke's daughter.
And that's fair.
And that Rey was gonna be a Skywalker, and that's like why.
No, sorry, I got yelled. I got my mom talked to me. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. No, but I really thought that he was setting up for Rey to be Luke's daughter, and that Rey was gonna be a Skywalker, and that would explain all of her like power or whatever.
We'll get to that because I have opinions on that.
Yes, and then I'll get into that later when we talk about the next movie that J.J. Abrams directed in the sequels.
Oh my
because
God.
he came back for Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that later.
We'll get into that. But no, Rian Johnson then picked it up, and he had a different vision and went for the route where Rey was just a nobody. Like she didn't have any connections to anybody. She's just like, it was almost kind of like an Anakin situation in the sense that she was just kind of born with a powerful connection to the Force or something like that, I guess.
Now here's where I'm gonna talk about that, because I will mention it, because you know what, now that I like actually hear your vision, it used to be Anakin's lightsaber, then it got passed down to Luke.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's why, is that lightsaber, it calls to her. Why else would it call to her other than her being like a Skywalker? Right?
And then like, it goes to Rey. I get that, because that is fully how I see it. I fully see it. I'm picturing it in my head. How much I'm fully seeing it right now. And the fact is that it came out and dude, that caught me so off guard. I was like, what is that? Like, oh my God.
Dude, her having that lightsaber called to her like that was such like a sign, like, oh, there's a reason. No, there's not. Apparently.
Not anymore. Ow. Yeah. I hit myself. Because like something that I do is I like talk and I like use my hands a lot. So like obviously I like my hands like hit places because I have a tiny desk space. But like, okay, back to what I was saying. Back to the point. Like it obvious. All right. So now let me talk my point of what J.J. Abrams was literally, because now you normally I don't see chemistry towards people like actors, right? And I would see it to a rare occurrence of people. Back then, that was the same case too. Like, obviously, and I seriously saw chemistry between Finn and Rey in the first one. Like, there was obviously some. There was obviously some. You can't deny that there isn't.
That was the other thing to me as well. It's like, I did also see that. So, my first point, it was then weird for Finn to get a different
there's another
interest in the second movie.
Yeah.
And then it was weird. I don't know. We'll get into it.
Let me. I'll pick up.
Skywalker to get into later.
I'll pick it up. Okay. So
yeah,
like I'll pick up what you're putting down. So like, okay, so when this movie, like obviously like the casino part, right, is where you started, like people would obviously assume that, like, okay, here's how I see it. Like I see chemistry, or I see what they think is what people see chemistry. All right, as in the sense of like an artist perspective in a way, you know. And when I saw those two, I was like, okay, these people are trying to set up that those are gonna be the love interests, and Finn was not, and I just couldn't see it. I legit couldn't see it because I just pictured it was gonna be those two.
Yeah, I really did.
I think everyone did. Like no person that I have met has said, "Oh yeah, I don't think those two were gonna be together." They should. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that with the third one. Like I'm gonna also talk Luke Skywalker, because let me tell you something. Before we started this episode, I had a little sit down with my dad. Because obviously, yes, I did, and that's why I said that there's going to be multiple parts, because one of the parts that I will be mentioning is going to be with my dad, because obviously it's like, you know, that he's when it comes to Star Wars, I think, you know, him and I would have a huge sit down about this whole thing. But we did have a sit down on this, and the thing is, though, I remember he saying specifically that he hated how Luke was towards this movie. He hated how Luke was in this movie. Very, you know, obviously, you know, grandpa-ish.
Oh, yeah.
And then the fact that he, like, legitimately just was super rude to Rey, even though he called out to the lightsaber. Dude, legitimately, the scene starts with her giving him the lightsaber. And then what does he do? Tosses it like it's, like, nothing. Tosses it like it's a piece of trash. Tosses it like it's freaking... Like, I don't know. Yeah.
The characterization of Luke too in this movie, it didn't feel right.
It didn't. I remember just like cringing. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, that was probably one of the. I don't know. It was just there's a lot. It was so weird. It was weird.
Oh my god! It's just I remember feeling so. That's like the moment I started thinking that I lost my money and I didn't even pay to watch the movie. You feel cheated, basically. There you go. That's how you say it. And I was like thinking, okay, they did him so dirty. They did him so wrong.
I agree.
I think another thing too that I think, was it in the third one or the second one? The attempt of killing Leia. I think. Now let me talk for a second. Okay, obviously, God rests her soul to the actress who did Leia. Obviously, to your family, I really hope you're grieving well towards this. I'm also grieving with you because she was an amazing actress. But the thing was, though, when I honestly was gonna say this. Obviously, she didn't die in this one, so. Spoilers, I don't care. This movie literally came out not too long ago, like I would say 2017, 2 years right after the movie came out. The first one came out, so go watch it. Why are you here if you haven't seen Star Wars yet? So but anyway, back to what I was saying. My dad, this is another point that my dad made, that they should have killed her off then.
Yeah, I agree with that too, I think.
Because I have this weird thing where I hate when they just Photoshop, or like not Photoshop, but you know what I mean, right? Like they just like don't use the actual person and they just use the synthesized version of them. And it's like kind of, it's, to me, it feels kind of messed up, you know, like.
Yeah, I get it. There's a very.
And I don't want to get into that fully because it has nothing to do with this topic. Obviously, you know, I would get into it later on in this podcast. God damn it, again. Okay, but like I can't get into it fully, but I can say this, that this is something that my dad and I both visibly agreed on, that they should have killed her off then. But then again, another thing too is kind of like, if they were to kill her off then,
it would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense. And then, you know, that was the case that that was what I was going with. I was think they were going for, and then she just did not die, and I was like, okay.
Right.
I went to use the restroom right after.
Dude, okay. And also, everything else, like the moral things, like the story things, of that part of that scene aside, just the scene itself visually was just kind of goofy, in my opinion.
Goofy, like she just a little mischievous.
Her eyes in space, and then she just floats back with her hand out, and it's like, dude, what on earth? I don't know.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it.
This movie was just weird. It was weird.
Oh my god, I could talk so many specific points, and I'm gonna, because like legitimately, we've been waiting to talk about this for such a freaking long time. The thing is though, that when you and I originally had this, like I really wanted to get deep into this with you, because this is like, again, I don't have that many friends who are big Star Wars fans. Obviously, I have you and one of our other friends on the server. And like I didn't want to get into with him because I don't know what he has seen. So like, what if he hasn't seen The Last Jedi? So that's why when you mentioned that you did watch it, I was like, oh, I can't get into it with you until we've done this. So like, I think in general, like obviously, I would this movie. Like I remember, I was about to write a review on this movie. I remember 2017 when we were in 7th grade. I knew what the internet was, and I was like, I'm ready to get down and write these damn reviews on how much better it could have been, because I'm not being toxic. I'm just being for real here. Like, come on, let's be for real. This is not the best one. We all have to agree that. Come on.
Yeah. No, but again, it's so weird because this is one of those things where it's like the critics disagree.
I don't like critics because look what they did to the Mario movie.
No, the Mario movie. It always comes back to the Mario movie. Like, come on. Like 59%. Like it was. Come on.
Guys,
come on.
just to let you know, me and Matt are huge Mario fans, and
Yes.
just that's gonna be an episode for another time. But I'm just letting you know straight up, okay? So like. All right. So anyway,
yeah, I need to be on that episode.
You are going to be on that episode. You and okay, I'll name drop you, our friend Yan, and then our friend Zen are going to be on this episode. So we'll that is going to be the next one, guys. Yay! The next one is Mario themed, so look out for that. Yay!
Hooray!
Hooray! Okay. Anyway, so any more points about the second movie before we officially get through the last one, because we are not even deep in, because we still got to talk about the shows and we still got to talk about the side stories.
I do kind of want to transition because I feel like I have to bring up again. So like, just like all in all, the way that like Rian Johnson just like subverted everything that J.J. Abrams set up, kind of set up the whole trilogy to be just doomed. Because after this movie being already as weird and as bad, J.J. Abrams had just basically just come back for the third movie and do damage control the best he could on such a tight schedule. And like, he tried to remedy a lot of what this movie did, and I just don't think it worked, especially in the time crunch he had, because that was ridiculous.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say this last point before we transition for sure. I remember that when this movie came out, my dad and I sat in the car, right? We sat in the car. By the way, we saw this, I think, on opening day, so this sucks even more. So... And I think I told you that, but like we sat in the car and then I remember, I think we went to Target not too long after, and we were like, we're gonna remake this movie. We're gonna get it. We're gonna have better acting. We're gonna have better writing. We're gonna just like basically like we're gonna get the action figures and make a stop motion animation of how this movie should have been.
Right.
We never did that, but with breathe.
You know, just like the sentiment that like you had to do that.
Yeah, like we just legitimately just like had to. It had to be done. We never did it, but it's still in the back of our minds that we should do it. But like we're never gonna do it. It's just too much. But okay. Now, oh boy, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I will say that this movie,
Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, Rise of Skywalker. Now, I will say that my initial reaction to it was positive.
I cannot say the same.
My initial reaction to it was positive, just because I thought it was better than The Last Jedi.
Okay, so all right, so first of all, let's do some data analysis. This movie came out in 2019. So what were we in 9th grade, right? So like, all right, I was in 9th grade, but like, okay, I'm again willing to expose that part, that I'm like 9th grade me was obviously Star Wars was like much bigger now, but the thing is that because of The Last Jedi, I legitimately was not having high hopes at all for this movie. Not even when it came out. And when I went to go watch it, even then I was like, it was kind of like, okay, they just kind of did it to satisfy what was gonna, and like just the end of it. And I just could not stand it. I'm sorry. I did not like this movie, just like not as much as I did like I disliked The Last Jedi. I disliked this movie a little less. Yeah. I know you think it's positive, but in my sense, I can't.
Remember what I said. My initial reaction.
Initial reaction. Positive. Okay.
That was not that is not reflective of my current opinion, but we'll get into that.
We're gonna get into that because now we're talking about this. The thing is, though, that I honestly did not have high hopes for this movie. I never did, because look, it's ruined. It was ruined that you made this movie, to the point where many people were saying that you needed to redo it. I remember I signed that petition to redo the second movie.
I remember I was a big defender of this movie at first.
No, I not Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi. That was just some point I was gonna make.
No, that one I feel like kind of doomed this movie.
And yeah, I have to agree. And yeah, so this movie, obviously, yes, J.J. Abrams came back. Because not only did people want him to come back, I can just picture that he was like, okay, done goofed up now. let me do this now.
I remember. I think I like read an interview or something where it was like J.J. Abrams, like when they had finished scripting The Last Jedi, they gave him permission to read it, and then he was like, he regretted passing up the reins, and he wished that he was directing it instead.
We can do what I think he could have done is a J.J. Abrams cut of the whole thing, but then that's gonna be a lot of money and it's gonna be completely useless to the point, like it's just not gonna make any sense. But anyway, so okay, now wait, why am I on Mandalorian? Okay, I have my Disney Plus. Yeah, not quite yet. We're gonna Rise of Skywalker. Okay, I have it. Okay, just to give context, you guys, I legit have I'm on my phone, just like going through Disney Plus right now to see like what we're working with here, because like some things I can't remember off the top of my head. I literally need this information on my hand. But anyway, so now I'm gonna mention one of the biggest points here that I could ever make about this whole thing. Rey and Kylo Ren.
Okay, I was gonna get into that.
I want to get into that so bad.
This is part two of my point of the whole thing with like Rey and Finn. They had chemistry, right?
You can physically see it. You can physically see it.
Not only that, but because of the whole setup with in Force Awakens that I saw, where Rey was possibly gonna be a Skywalker. That was implicit to me that these two, Rey and Kylo Ren, were related by blood. I thought they were going to be cousins because Luke was going to be Rey's daughter.
I know. Okay, so
when I saw them, like, I was not expecting it because there was also no build up for it or anything like that.
That was
like, I remember watching this movie and they just kissed and I was just like, oh, okay, so that's a thing. So they're not related. Like, oh yeah, that's right. That is a thing. Like, there was nothing setup for that. Like that kiss just happened, and I was like, oh, so this is a thing I am seeing now. Like, this is on the screen right now.
You're literally setting up a picture in my head right now.
It wasn't true after The Last Jedi, but it was still like kind of like ingrained in my head that like, oh yeah, these two are cousins because Rey's the daughter of Skywalker, even though I knew that was not right. It was just kind of like the idea I had in my head, at the back of my head. So seeing the kiss is like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Oh my god, alright, now I'm gonna put my opinion on it, because obviously, like, okay, this is just our opinions, I am allowed to. Right. Jesus Christ. Okay, let me tell you something. Alright, so obviously, let's bring it back a little bit to The Last Jedi. They've been having visions of seeing each other in conversations, all right?
Right.
This is where I thought the director... I forgot his name, god damn it.
Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams?
Rian Johnson. No, I know J.J. Abrams. But, like, Rian Johnson legitimately set up these visions, right? And I was like, okay, cool, I guess. Again, I was going based off what you were saying about the whole blood thing, you know, like this, like the fact that they're blood related. That's why I was like thinking Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, dude, for real. That was crazy to me.
My God. So when they were having visions, right, it continued onto this movie, Rise of Skywalker, and legitimately they apparently got powerful. Like, oh yeah, I kind of like you now, and like that's what I kind of saw the buildup, but when it happened, I legitimately just like looked at it and I was like, what am I watching? What am I looking at? This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Like, looking back, I guess you can make an argument that there was build-up,
No.
but that's just, like,
That's
a
weak
lot of
build-up.
the points that you make. Like, I totally interpreted it as something completely different,
No,
you know?
I didn't interpret it
I did
romantical.
not interpret it as that at all.
I did not interpret it as
At
romantic at all. I considered it like a sister, a cousin thing, you know?
Yeah,
I
like
didn't.
a they were related thing.
Yeah, that's the like, because
And that's
obviously
why they had their. Well, I mean, obviously they explained in the Last Jedi, like the link was like Snoke's doing,
this motherfucker. Okay.
but you know, it's
Like, this is just, it's so
oh my
ridiculous.
God!
It's so ridiculous.
I love.
Let me
Uh,
tell you something. I'm embarrassed to admit this. I screamed the minute I screamed I screamed inside when this happened, because that was when I was like, this is not real. That's not love. You're
this is
you're
not a real movie.
this isn't love. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, this isn't true love. This should have gone to Finn. This is not you. This is not you. I hate you now. Ben.
Ben.
I hate you, Ben. Like, how dare you steal this away from Finn? I had hope for that.
Yeah, it's just so very strange.
Oh.
Oh, dude, there's so much that this movie does. This movie feels, and I think this is why my initial reaction was positive, because this movie feels very fan servicey.
Oh God.
Because I will admit, as much sense as it doesn't make, seeing that very beginning scene with like an undead Palpatine rising like tons of like
That's why I made the point. Quotation marks dead.
like out of the thing, like, dude, like that was it made no sense, but it was so cool seeing that on the big screen. Like, it was such a cool scene.
They really had
made no sense. Like, it was just so cool looking, and like the music, and it was like,
oh, okay.
like, what can you give me? And it's like, everything. And he just like raises his hands, and then you just have an army, and it's like, oh my God.
Can I just say,
it's so cool, but it doesn't make any sense.
Let me just say, I'm picturing you just going like just like
I think I was going nuts at that point, because again, like I said, my initial reaction was positive, and I think it was just because I was being baited by the fan service. It was. I mean, I still love that scene, and I
didn't care for it.
now that narratively it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, that's the reason why. There you go.
It's weird. You
have joined us.
You have joined us. Yeah.
You have joined us, like, not caring situation. Like, okay, I'll admit it. Yeah, it was good. It was cool. I'm hearing them listen. I'm listening to them.
Not
just
well
like yelling.
Written. Not well written.
No, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just like listening to my mom just like yelling at the TV screen because Korea's playing right now. But like, legitimately, I get that. Yeah, it's just like made no sense.
I feel like a lot of the movie, like, that really just set the tone of the movie. It is a lot of, oh, this thing is really cool, but it's not written well, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like what is it? It's FNAF security breach.
Yeah,
that's the movie compiled.
That's why it's better than The Last Jedi, because it is stuff that is cool to see, but put together. Like, again,
it's the best of both worlds, you guys.
Work. It just doesn't work.
It's the best of both worlds.
And again, it's like J.J. Abrams had to like do things like he kind of capture his original vision.
No, but it didn't work, and I felt bad.
And it didn't work because, like, you know, the ending of it, where it's like, what is your name? And Rey is like, I'm Rey Skywalker. Like, here's my thing, and I've always said this. That should have been it. Like, no. She really should have been Rey Skywalker, but not like that.
Let me tell you something. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say about that, because again, I'm like thinking of this as the actual time plot, and I'm not thinking of this, you know, obviously, you know, how he was about to build the whole thing about him, you know, I'm thinking like movie based. Like, this is my 9th grade brain talking here, all right? When I saw that she said that, I legitimately was like, oh, that kiss means they're married now, I guess. Did Palpatine really just said? Did Palpatine do that whole fight?
His last name is Solo.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Okay, ninth grade. Obviously now I don't think that, but like, okay. But like, no, when I watched it the first time, I'm like, oh, did Palpatine really just say, Ben, do you take Rey as to be your lovely wooden wife?
Dude, her being a Palpatine, that was so weird. And
Oh my god, can we talk about that? Yeah.
And I feel like JJ, yeah, because this is one of those things that I feel like this is how he was remedying it. It's like, oh, she's not a Skywalker because she's not Luke's daughter. Like, I set her up to be. So I have to make her a Palpatine now to make her relevant.
No, this is, oh my god. Okay, we might get a little, let me put my theory. We might get a little weird in this, so I'm gonna apologize ahead of time, okay? So just a fair warning to many of you guys. Like, we obviously did not know Palpatine had children. Nobody knew. Like, nobody, like, yeah, I like, first of all, let me tell, yeah. My thought, if she's like, oh, I'm Skywalker, it would have been Luke. If I'm gonna put my theory in it, like, he was a lost child of Luke and a daughter of Palpatine. And look what that makes it out to be for Ben and
Palpatine's granddaughter.
And Luke's daughter, or something like that.
What on earth, dude?
Listen, okay, like, that's, again, me talking ninth grade wise. I didn't know any better, obviously. I know better now, you know, like, 5 years later, I obviously know better now that that's not gonna happen. And that sounds really wrong for me to say, but back then, I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna say? Like, I don't know. Oh, it sounds so wrong in my head.
It's just, I mean, no, it is just so weird.
It is so, oh my okay, I just, no, I can't anymore. This thing makes me so mad. It's just I think, okay, I mentioned one time when we were talking on the server, right, obviously, how I can tend to get genuinely mad or I can get playfully mad. And by the way, guys, that's a trait of mine that I can get genuinely mad or playfully mad when it comes to me and, like, friends or acquaintances. The thing is, you will never see me genuinely mad. That's just something, that's a fact. Obviously, in this podcast, you're never going to see me genuinely mad. Except the point I'm going to make. This movie made me so genuinely mad, I almost threw something at the theater.
That's crazy.
Now, here's the thing. When I get genuinely mad, I do crazy crap. I'm not gonna lie. I will go, like, the one thing I've done that's genuinely mad that I've warned people if they ever get me genuinely mad is I will leave, like that. Like, it's nobody's business. And with this movie, I was so ready to leave. Like, it was not funny. I was just so, my body was telling me to get out. Like, oh, I stood through the whole thing. By the way, I rewatched it not too long ago, and the point still stands. Right. Yeah, so, like, even then, I would just, like, I watched it halfway and I quit.
I feel like I'd have a much lower opinion of it if I watched it again, so I've been avoiding watching it.
No, I didn't, so you wouldn't really, but, like, again, this is coming from me. It's obviously we're different people, so it's not gonna, but...
See, because it's just, it's... a lot of,
I can't no more. Okay, let's I'm done with these movies. I'm just,
there's more to say, but I don't really want to get into it
because it's gonna sound, again, we have opinions obviously, but there's some opinions that we're gonna keep to ourselves because, like, there's we can have this conversation for like 8 hours. Yeah, I'm done with this. Can we just take a minute before we stop with the movies and talk about the shows? We're gonna talk about there
are a couple more movies we do need to cover.
That's what I was going to get to. So obviously there's two side stories, Rogue One and Solo. Or there's another one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh no, those are the only two.
No, I think it is just those two.
It is those two. Rogue One. That is the go-to movie for me whenever I feel like I'm watching Star Wars. It's not the original.
I have to agree, because, like, I will say this though. It was very weird to me at first for some reason.
That's fair. I mean, it was
Like
to me too.
when I was like a lot younger than when that movie came out, and when it did,
It came out
just like
2016.
the idea of a movie of a Star Wars movie that like wasn't part of like it was like a side story type thing. It was just like I don't know why my brain was just not grasping it. It was like,
Excuse me.
wait, this is not the sequels. Happens like before. It's not focusing on Jedi's or Siths, or it's not focusing on Luke Skywalker. Like, what's going on here? Like,
What is
I
this?
was just not understanding.
Now, okay.
But now looking back, I realize how good that movie is.
It is very, very good. And again, when I think Star Wars, like movies that I want to watch, even though what I don't feel like watching, obviously the big three of the Star Wars franchise, which I am dubbing the big three as in the sense of the original movies. Oh my god, this is my anime brain just went off for a little second. Sorry about that. The big three. Oh my god, we're gonna talk about that again. Okay, I'm bringing other episodes in this. It's my bad. Okay, but when I think any Star Wars movie that I just for sure want to watch and that's it, I think Rogue One, because this movie legitimately had done so much and it carried through to another series because we're gonna get into it, but like Andor, this is the movie that starts it off of introducing Andor, which in case you guys do not know what Andor is, that is a series that is on that's a Disney Plus exclusive, so and it's involving one of the main characters in Rogue One, which is Andor. So but
and I will not lie, I have not watched it yet.
That's fine.
I hear it has like a slow like first episode.
It has a slow first. Okay, we're gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have to make my point clear for a second there.
Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One, best movie in my opinion, as in the sense of a side story. Yes, out of the two side story movies, that is the best one in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any other opinions. The Darth Vader scene.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, I watched some like music guy on YouTube like study it, and he's like they retuned the lightsaber sound to like add an extra note to the soundtrack to give it an extra like mood to it. It's just like what? And then the scene is just so beautiful.
Oh my
god. Good.
Guys, look. Oh my god. Everybody who has ears knows how good that was. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about the other one, Solo. I don't really got much of an opinion on this one.
I really don't either. I think it was a pretty
solid.
Good movie.
It was solid.
Good movie.
It was solid.
That's all I have to say about it. It was a good movie.
I just wanted to bring it up because obviously we have to.
We talk about Star Wars and then
we're going to the nitty-gritties of it. So
it's a good movie. It's all right.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely nothing special. It was actually the least the lowest grossing Star Wars movie of all time.
And even so, it still did pretty good.
Yeah. It did okay.
In my opinion.
It's not too great. But I watched it and I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was good.
I consider
it was a origin story of sorts for Han Solo.
Yeah, I love Solo. I love Han Solo. So I didn't mind it. Now
I don't remember most of it, I will say that.
I will probably you know what, maybe after this
just being good.
Maybe after we're done recording this, like maybe a couple days after, because obviously I'm not gonna like watch it right now. I'll rewatch it and we'll probably like have a sit down about it.
Yeah.
We don't have to record that part. But like, okay, so now we're done with the movies. Yay.
Yeah.
We're about an hour and 30 minutes of this movie.
Oh my goodness.
And okay, now before I talk shows, obviously, I'm going to ask, what have you seen? Because like obviously I was about to say, because you did mention that, and I can probably say I've watched a lot more than you. So I'm
You probably have. I've watched like
I know Mando.
first 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
And that was it.
And that's the only one I know of off the top of my head that I've watched.
Okay, that's fair. So
no
I watched
Visions, no Clone Wars, no what's the
Band
other
Batch,
Rebels,
any of the
Batch,
Lego Star Wars ones.
Nothing,
Okay.
Nothing.
So, all right. So what I have seen, guys, in case of context, Andor, Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Vision season 1.
The other one I did watch. I did watch Kenobi.
Okay, you did watch. Okay, so then we can talk about that. That's good. Then,
so, yeah.
Okay, then I watched season 1 of Visions. I haven't seen season 2 yet. I will get on to that. I promise. Okay. I was really happy with Visions. That's okay. I won't talk about the ones that you haven't seen just because I need you to see them in order for me to have a full-on discussion with you. Because this is how I feel with... Okay, so let me give some context to many of you guys who are not aware. This whole podcast is going to be about, like, geek culture. And so we will be mentioning a lot of spoilers in a lot of things. And I always give warnings ahead of time before the whole thing. Because I really hate spoilers when I get uninvited spoilers.
Like surprise.
Yeah, so the thing is though that with this podcast, I make sure that I mention, if you haven't seen list of everything that I mention, I will put that in the description obviously for both Spotify and YouTube. But if you haven't seen whatever we mentioned, then do not listen, because we will be getting into a lot of the stuff that are in this movie, in this specific stuff. So obviously it works both ways for people who are here on this podcast talking with me, or people who happen to listen to us, but that's just, again, just giving some context here. So that's why I wanted to ask you. I should have asked you beforehand, but then again, I was like, okay, well then I'm going to see what you actually have watched so that we can talk about what we have watched. So you did see Kenobi and you did see Mando. I won't get into... Okay, I won't get into Andor because I did see all of Andor. I will say it is really good. I will say that it is really good. Same with Visions.
I've heard.
And Andor is just amazing. Yes, it's slow in the beginning. That's understandable. Trust me, I have.
And that's what I was told. It's slow in the beginning, but it becomes so very good.
And this is where this is where I put up with, like, how long have I watched anime for? Like, how long is... Give me a second. Hold on. I'm doing my math. This is where I put at least 7 to 8 years worth of anime knowledge that I have, that I'm used to things that are slow in the beginning.
Right.
And then, so that's why I put out for the entire thing. I waited just to make sure that it was slow, but what if it gets better? And it does. So I got lucky there, you guys. Okay. We all did. Let's be real here.
Right.
But like,
I mean, I will take your word for it for now. And
okay.
I will find out myself.
Don't drop it. Okay. Anyway, Mando. All right. Mando. Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal.
Very good.
Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal. No. Okay. So. Let me say this, okay? Everybody, season 1, obviously. The one thing that everybody on Twitter, Instagram, obviously, this is the time where social media has become a huge thing for Star Wars. And Mando was on the front of it when it came to it, like, basically.
Yeah.
And everybody loved Baby Yoda. Grogu.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That Baby was a huge... Obviously, everybody named it Baby Yoda. I say Grogu. I say Grogu. So, like... Because, like, obviously, we got announced that his name is Grogu.
Say whatever my brain thinks of first. It's like,
that's fair. There was this one time where I said, "Oh yeah, Baby Yoda," and then somebody yelled at me to say, "Don't say his name like that." I'm like, "What do you?" Well, like. Something. I don't care. Okay. Something dropped.
Oh.
Okay, it's my Japanese cherry blossom perfume. Okay, that's fine, I guess. But, okay. But, like, okay, look, everybody loved Grogu. I think he was the reason why the whole show became really, like, popular at the time. And then I just, like, okay, look, yes, Grogu, yeah, I love him too. I mean, who doesn't love Grogu? But he obviously wasn't the main focus, so I don't pay attention to somebody who's not the main focus. Mando.
Right.
Din Djarin was the main focus. So obviously I'm going to, I don't think I said his name right, but whatever, I don't care. Like, if I'm saying it wrong, don't come for me, okay? Like, I can't, I'm like, but anyway.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced the name of a fictional character.
Believe it or not, I've gotten people mad at me for pronouncing something wrong. Trust me. That's why I'm like apologizing. But like, anyway, but like, yeah, Din Djarin, but like he, like, I was paying more attention to him, and even though, yeah, Grogu was like the main focus, I've gotten people even telling me like this should be called the Baby Yoda show. I'm like, no, it's called Mandalorian for a reason. Okay, pay attention to Mando and don't just focus on Grogu, because the whole reason of this show is about Mando. It's about Mando. Mando's literally carrying the entire show, not Grogu. I really was pissed off with a lot of people telling that, oh, Grogu was the star of the show. No. Otherwise, it really would have been called the Baby Yoda show, which it isn't.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm biased because I love Pedro Pascal.
Grogu, right? I mean, you love to see it, right?
You love to see it.
But like, he's become one of those icons. It's just like, oh, he is everywhere.
It's like Minions.
Yeah. I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, because let me say something. Like, I know, like, for example, like, I think Japan went nuts with Baby Yoda too, just as much as freaking Minions, and like, Lord knows how much I do not like them as much. Okay, like, anyway, but okay, like, Jesus Christ, look. Okay, wait. Before I talk for a second, have you seen Boba Fett? The Tales of Boba Fett.
I watched the first episode of that.
Oh my god.
That's it. I tell you, I have not seen a lot.
Okay, we're gonna have a sit down and watch Boba Fett. It's not that much, so don't worry. You. Okay, then and you didn't see season 3, so I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna talk as far as season 2. Okay, so like I'll do my best. All right. Okay. I've seen all of it. I'm caught up with Mando. Okay, obviously with this show, I watched it every single week, and I watched it with my dad every single week. So we always waited until each episode. I remember each episode, like, obviously a cliffhanger would come about, right? And then me and my dad would yell.
Right.
Yeah, because like we're like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, you know, like that. Like,
yeah.
Like, but like stuff like that. But like, yeah. So yeah, it's just, I've been a fan of the show from the start, because obviously, you know, like, I love the premise of how Star Wars was gonna do series now, because obviously, you know, during that time.
Oh, okay. And that's a point I want to bring up. I was gonna say later, but I might as well just bring it up now.
Go ahead.
It is so weird to me that Disney has been managing to get like almost everything about Star Wars right, except for their sequel trilogy. Like, all their shows and stuff, anything pertaining to like original era of Star Wars and prequel era of Star Wars, like, they've been getting it all so right.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
Mess up the sequel so bad.
And that's okay. Look, they learned from their mistakes because of Mando. And like, Mando was the perfect example of them learning from their mistakes. That's just how I think. That's what I think. So if you guys want to take that as you will, go ahead. But the thing I will mention, obviously, with Mando, like, okay, we'll start off with season 1, right? It's build up, you know, like, we're learning about Mando, we're learning about Baby Yoda. And then season 2 comes around. And then we notice that later on that, this is season 2. Okay, just wanted to double check, because, like, again, do not want to spoil season 3, because I was just like, I'm obviously, because you haven't seen it yet, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is where you got the Darksaber and stuff, right? So obviously, I'm thinking, this is where I'm like,
Darksaber, and then like, okay, really, I'm not gonna lie, I do not remember quite a bit.
Okay.
Mandalorian, because it has been a long time.
No, yeah.
I do remember Ahsoka was in there. That was really cool. First live action Ahsoka.
Okay, Ahsoka, well, you've seen it, so I guess I can give you some, like, what, like, recap it was, so that you can get the context in that. Basically, Ahsoka said, because he was telling Mando, or technically Grogu, how to control, the Force, because obviously you need the Force in order for you to learn to be a Jedi, and this baby was known to be an incredible Jedi. And so that's what it was. Ahsoka basically said that they're gonna have someone take Grogu to train him to be a masterful Jedi. I won't say who because no, you kind of know who in the end of season 2, but again, I just won't say it because like I don't know. I don't know how far like at the ending. But yeah, so obviously the dark saber was a thing,
Yeah.
And then Moff Gideon was a thing.
Cool.
And so, by the way, I love Moff Gideon as like a villain in general. Even the actor. Yeah. The actor just pulled through with Moff Gideon.
The actor is very good, yes.
Yeah, and he
like a couple other things.
Yeah, and he does Far Cry 6 Like he's in a game. I wouldn't know that. Yeah, I didn't. I don't play. I didn't play Far Cry, but like it's anyway. But back to what I was saying. Back to the point I was going to make. Yeah, they casted well, and in the general sense, because obviously I'm a huge Pedro Pascal fan. Oh my god, this awoken my phase of Pedro Pascal. Like I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding with you.
I feel like that it applies to a lot of people.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't really got much to say other than the fact that Mando is a good show. If you haven't seen season 3, go watch it. I definitely recommend it.
Great.
And the endings for each season. End of season 2 was so great. Oh wait, no, you have seen it. Never mind. Okay, then
season 2 is with Luke.
With Luke taking Grogu. Yeah. Okay, so then.
I loved it.
Watch. Loved it. Okay, so to those of you who are unaware, I'm gonna give you the timeline because I'm giving it to Matt because you haven't seen. Watch the Tales of Boba Fett. Bless you.
Thank you.
Guys, just don't question it. Don't question it. Watch. The Tales, what is it called? The Book of Boba Fett. I said the Tales, my bad. Watch the Book of Boba Fett after season 2. If you haven't watched Mando, which again, one of our mutual friends, I've been trying to convince him to watch Mando. He's only seen the 3rd episode. Anyway.
Dude, I hear the background.
It's my mom's. I'm sorry. But anyway. Okay, so this is my timeline to everyone here watching, and then it goes for anybody who hasn't seen Mando, which you guys definitely should. Don't sleep on it. It's a gorgeous show. You're gonna love the fact that at the end credits they do concepts of every scene of Mando. So just just stay till the whole thing for Mando. You're gonna thank me, trust me when I say that. But anyway, this is my timeline for Mando. As somebody who's watched all of that. Watch Mando season 1 and 2. For sure. Start off with that. Then go into the Book of Boba Fett. Do not start season 3 without watching the Book of Boba Fett. Alright? The whole thing.
Oh yeah, Boba Fett being in Mando as well. That was cool.
That's the reason why I'm going to recommend that too. Because he does play a part in that. And just I won't spoil it. Just watch the Book of Boba Fett. Then you get into season 3 of Mando because it follows up after Boba Fett. So that's the reason why I recommend to watch the Book of Boba Fett. How many episodes is it actually? Now that I'm here and I'm looking at the show right now, how many episodes is it? It's only 7 episodes.
Huh, okay.
So yeah, but they're pretty long. So I would definitely recommend to have a sit down and just binge it practically if you need to, because it is just an amazing show. It's not as good obviously as Mando, but just watch the Book of Boba Fett after season 2. Yeah. That's what I recommend to anybody who's planning on watching Mando. I will when that time comes, when I'm bringing up the mutual friend again who hasn't finished season 1 and 2. I will bring that up to him because obviously because he needs to watch it. I'm gonna force him to watch it. I've been forcing him to watch it. I'm trying to tell him to watch. Anyway, God Lord. So yeah, definitely that's what I say. I just need more people to talk about the Book of Boba Fett with, because obviously, cause nobody has seen it. I haven't seen many people talk about it either, so it's under the radar, and that's kind of sad because of how good it was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I need to watch it.
Matt, I'm telling you that you should watch it Since you finished season 2. That's why I'm kind of glad that you didn't start season 3 and you said you didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So do that for me first. Watch the Book of Boba Fett, then go to season 3. And I will say this, season 3 blows out all expectations out of the water. And I had I had high expectations for it, and it just checked them off instantly. Each episode.
All right.
Each episode is just gorgeous. All right.
Gotcha.
And
okay. Well,
yeah,
it makes me excited.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to at least talk about, as far as shows go, I do want to talk about just one more that we have both seen, that being Kenobi.
Okay.
Yeah, alright, and I feel like that explains enough.
Just that squeal.
Yeah, because, oh my goodness.
How,
so good.
Oh, how amazing it was. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, anyway.
Loved it. 6 episodes. It's not a long show. But oh boy,
we're gonna talk spoilers, by the way, of the show, because like I want to get into the nitty gritty. Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, it's baby Leia. It's like young Leia. She girl bossed this entire show. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
Baby girl boss.
Say that I loved the confrontations.
Oh yeah.
Loved the confrontations between Vader and Kenobi.
Yeah. Oh, the fight before. Just.
Yeah.
It's
so good.
Oh my god, this fight is.
I loved. I will say I also really liked. There was the final fight between them. In that show, and it was like where and like his mask broke, and you could hear both of his voices at the same time.
Oh my dude, I went nuts.
Anakin again. It was like, oh my.
Look, let me say this. Okay, guys, again, I will mention this. Darth Vader is my Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, favorite character from the series in general, but that also has to go to Mando too. Mando's overall, if we're talking original series, that goes to Darth Vader. The thing is, though, when I saw that, I legitimately, I watched the show with my dad, okay, because, like, I have this thing, me and my dad have this thing where, like, anything that comes out Star Wars related or Marvel related even, we have to, like, we watch it together. I don't watch it when it comes out. Yeah. But, okay, so, when that happened, we both collectively screamed. Because how amazing was that? How amazing was that?
It was so good.
Oh my god. Lord. I think that show really hit the spot, and it did so well. And again, it's just like not many people talk about it. Like it was a big deal at one point, and then it just like faded like that.
It's yeah, and I still look at it, it's like,
and it's still it needs to be talked about more. So if you haven't seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, go watch it, because it's just so amazing. Oh my lord.
Us talking about, oh yeah, if you haven't seen this, go watch it after talking about like every little detail and spoiler.
No, again, it's like to people. Okay, so like again, like I know there's gonna be people who are like, oh, I don't care. Let me just like
yeah.
Like, I don't care, just spoil it for me. No, I'm gonna say this right now. Go watch it. It's just amazing. If you haven't watched it, go see it, okay? I'm re-saying that again because I just heard a curse word. Go watch it. Go watch it. Okay. So, alright, we're done talking about everything. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier on, that I have personal stories to talk about as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, I am again, we mentioned this earlier, we're huge Star Wars fans, grew up with the franchise for our entire lives. Okay, well, you entire life, me not so much, but like
might as well,
yeah, yay. Okay. So I have a couple of personal stories that I'm willing to share about this. All right, because like I never told anyone this because I didn't want anybody to tell the story other than me, and I wanted to avoid telling you because I feel like it's gonna be so funny. So no, they're good stories. They're absolutely hilarious. So one of them I'm gonna talk about is like me, my quince. Okay. Oh my god. Speaking of quinces, so so in case some of you guys are not aware, I'm Hispanic, and I'm Salvadorian, Mexican, Peruvian American. So I have roots of Mexican heritage. And in Mexican heritage, we have something called a quince, to those of you who are not aware. Quince is meaning 15. Well, quince means quinceañera, which means 15, where a celebration happens that claiming to be adult. So just the long and short of it, to many of you guys who do not know, because I literally had to do a lecture on this last time, remember? Like, so, okay. So I had my quince, right? And it was on May 4th.
Yeah, okay.
Now, to many of you guys who are not Star Wars fans, or just like probably you're like watching this and you're like, oh, what's May 4th about? May the 4th be with you. Which is a saying that is said in Star Wars as in the sense of good luck. Kind of like...
May the Force be with you.
It's like a good omen, basically.
Hello.
Okay, so what's the story about? Okay, yeah, my quince. It was on May 4th, okay?
Uh-huh.
And every time I mention, like, oh, my quince was on May 4th, right? So...
Yeah.
They're like, did you have a Star Wars theme? And I still regret that I did not have a Star Wars theme. I love my theme. I love my theme, okay? My theme was mariachi theme because I used to play mariachi back in the day. Yeah, so it's and so but to this day I was like, but what if I had no, one time I legitimately like photoshopped its lightsaber. Like, dang it, was I obviously like, okay, obviously, like, yeah, like, it's okay. I mean, maybe like on the when May the 4th, I just like say, hey, it's my quinceañera anniversary. We're having Star Wars themes.
Yeah,
that'd be funny. But yeah, so anyway, that's like one of the stories. Do you have any personal stories that you would like to share before I keep talking?
Not anything like specifically, but I did kind of want to close off on like talking about our experiences because I know we both went to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah! Okay. Well, like, I'll do this last story and then we'll talk about attractions, okay? Yes. As the closing. This is the last story I'll mention because this is by far not that long ago, but also at the same time one of my favorite stories to talk about. Look, I've been in this franchise for a long time. I've loved this franchise a long time. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so for starters, guys, I do drive. I have a car. And so, like, when I took my license test, right? Because here in America, we, like, in case you guys are not from America, what we do basically is we have to take a written portion of the test, which we call the written test, which is to get your learner's permit.
This is true.
And you have to meet a certain requirement. Bless you. Or
you take like a month-long like driving course.
No,
That's the route I took.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. I did not do a written test. I just passed
really?
a month-long driving class.
No, and okay, for us, like, we had to take the test. We had to take the test even if we had to do driving school.
Okay, no. You just get here. There's a certain class that you take that if you
you guys got lucky.
Pass the certification, you get the certification that you passed the class there, then that counts towards your written test.
Really? Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. It just I don't know. I could be wrong. But like, yeah, where I'm at, you know, it's just like we have to take the test after the driving course, but it has to be at a certain time. So like if you're like 17 and a half, you don't have to take the test, and that's the route I took. And so I took the test, right? I got my learner's permit, right? I learned how to drive for about a couple months until I had to go take the test. It was December. I remember this vividly. And the guy who took my test, who like was like the person that had to sit next to me while I did the test, was wearing a Darth Vader Christmas shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And the first thing that I said to him when he got in the car, because I noticed the shirt, I was like, oh, nice shirt. I'm a huge Star Wars fan too. He's like, no way, that's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I grew up with the franchise. Yeah. And I ended up passing.
Yay. I'm sure that probably helped.
Yeah. The thing was, though, that my dad was with me that day, right? And he's like, there was a sign of good force within you because of that Darth Vader shirt.
Right.
And to this day, I still think of it kind of like that because, like, obviously, you know, I feel like that was good force. That was good fortune on me for, like, passing, you know, because, like, I hate tests. Again, that's not something we're gonna talk about on this episode, but like that's just a little side of my personality. I just don't like tests.
Yeah.
I can't stand them. Even as a college student, I hate them. But like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I think especially as a college student.
Especially as a college student, it's the worst. There's gonna be episodes of language classes actually, because another fun fact about me is that I have 3 languages that I kind of know. So like obviously English being one of them, which is the language of this podcast, obviously. And there will be 2 more that I will mention when that episode comes around, and I'll have 2 special guests on me with that one. But we'll have that talk when that time comes. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Testing in general just did not make me any easier. And when that Darth Vader shirt came in, I legitimately was like, yes, good fortune on my part. The guy was sweet too, so it kind of helped. But
that's cool.
Yeah, so I remember like that, and then when I got my license, I was like, wow. And I was like, I'm gonna watch Star Wars movies. No, not even drive, just watch Star Wars movies. Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, I got my license. I'm gonna drive to, I don't know, like Florida or something. I don't know. No, I'm gonna stay in my room and just watch Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna close off the whole thing with attractions. Now, to many of you guys who are either not in America, specifically Florida or California, you haven't been to Disneyland / Disney World. Disney World being in Florida, Disneyland being in California. I've been to both. Okay, so I have been to both my entire life. Obviously, I've gone to both, but
I've only been to Disney World in Orlando.
Yeah, I've been to both. So we're gonna talk Galaxy's Edge. Now,
yes,
Galaxy's Edge is Star Wars land, basically. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll go nuts over there, and that is exactly what I did. Okay.
Yes, I also did. It's so good.
I went with friends of mine to Galaxy's Edge in California Disneyland. All right. And the thing was, though, that first of all, I am an impulse buyer. So many have heard.
Boy.
And the one thing I will always say, always say, is that I do not regret any purchase that I made during that trip, because I got an entirely good, like this sweater that I got. I love it, and I bought matching earrings.
I got so much. I got. Oh my god. Okay, so wait, I'll get into this more later, because there's one topic that I do remember us explicitly avoiding because I wanted us to talk about it on this episode.
Ooh, okay, can't wait.
But first of all, I did buy like a full set of like actual Jedi robes and like the.
You did tell me this.
I did do that.
Oh my god.
I did wear that. I mean, I did buy that. It was so cool. And then the other thing is,
I would like to see them one of these days.
I did buy a lightsaber.
We bought lightsabers.
My whole family, we all did get lightsabers.
We did get lightsabers. Actually, funny thing, speaking of that California trip that I went to with my friends, I bought it, right? And then they were like, oh, I'm going to buy one too. And then we ended up at Avengers Campus, because it was a park hopper. We ended up having a lightsaber battle at Avengers Campus. Oh, that's the best memory ever. To this day, I consider that one of my favorite memories ever, because that was just pure gold. Yeah. But yeah, no, we Star Wars, you gotta have lightsabers. Like there's no shot. Yeah. But
that's really good.
It is really, really good. But okay, now it is time. Tell me what you were planning on saying, because I'm very curious.
Because this is the one thing, and I kind of want to, like, if we're ready to, this is kind of like the one thing I kind of want to leave off on, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. This is it, because I don't really got anything else to say as far as I'm concerned now.
Yeah. because I know we both got lightsabers. We both got like the custom built ones, right?
No, but
You did not?
no, but I have money saved up
Uh,
for when I do go, because I'm planning on going back to, guys, I'm planning on going back to Disneyland.
right.
So like obviously
Okay.
I'm going.
I built my own saber.
Yeah, I got Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
Gotcha. I built my saber, and that was a very cool experience because they made it a whole thing too.
Yeah, I know. It is so gorgeous.
Um,
I'm jealous. Anyway, make your
see
point.
now, what I built my lightsaber out of,
Mhm.
I built it based off of they have like they have like four types. They've
The
got
color
like
crystals, yeah.
yeah, so they've got like what's kind of like the normal one, you know,
Hmm.
like I forget what they're all called, but
What
they've
the
got one that's like based off of like what you would normally see in like the normal sabers,
right?
um like the your Luke Skywalker ones or like your like Obi-Wan's or Anakin's.
Hmm.
Then they've got like another class that's like more Sith looking, kind
Ooh.
of in that same regard. Um, so like you're like a kind of like Vader sabers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Then they've got a set of pieces that's like based off of like old Jedi temple type pieces.
I'm looking this up. Give me a second.
Yeah, and then they've got one that's like kind of based like on like wilderness stuff almost,
I'm
like
sorry.
nature stuff.
Okay, I'm going through my images right now.
Okay.
Keep going, cause like.
I built mine based off of the Jedi temple pieces
Ooh,
because
that's
I thought they looked super cool.
yeah, they are. Sorry.
Yeah, I I loved it, and I got the green Kyber crystal.
I love it. Okay, obviously. I'm sorry.
It's so it's so good. It's so good. I still have it right
Man,
here.
I know you so well. I know that you were gonna get the green one. All right. Is there any? Okay. Before I.
And that was kind of just like the last thing I kind of wanted to say.
Okay. Well, so since that is the last thing you're gonna say, I guess we're gonna have to end it off here, you guys. Thank you guys so much for
All right.
listening. I am
Yeah.
beyond exhausted. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, but it was very fun to be here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you
and
so
my
much, Matt.
headphones are dying. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Matt, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining me
Bye.
on this first
Yes.
episode.
Thank you for having me. It's been very, very fun.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's it from my side, and thank you guys so much for listening. Bye, you guys.
All right. Bye bye.